Where do I begin? I think I'll start by saying that my mom was my mom, and in all connotations that entails. But she just wasn't my mom. I had to share her with my siblings, and each of them will remember her in a different way. So I'm going to share several memories of my mom from my perspective. Some of you may have rebuttals for this, but this is my time. Growing up, especially in my younger years, we didn't have a lot, but you would never know it from my eyes. Somehow, some way, we always had a great Christmas, and the only time that we went to bed hungry was if we didn't eat what mom had made for dinner. There were multiple times we'd have malts and popcorn for dinner, grilled cheese sandwiches were daily meals at one point. I remember it would be me, mom, and Shannon hauling pigs to auction, and mom would get us McDonald's with the condition that we don't tell dad. Now, mom and dad were married for over 50 years. I don't think they had a perfect marriage, but they made it work. My evidence that it wasn't perfect was my dad's brother once coined the term Saint Pat, because only a saint could have put up with my dad. I have other evidence of the imperfections, such as at an early age, I learned words and phrases I probably shouldn't have. That being said, as I said earlier, they both made it work. Now, growing up on a farm is not easy or glamorous work. It's work. From sun up to sundown, sometimes we wouldn't have dinner until 10 p.m. at night, and it was the aforementioned popcorn and malts. And we always had our Saturday night bath, whether we needed it or not. Well, the reason for the Saturday night bath was we had church Sunday mornings. And the first 12 or so years of my life, Sunday morning routine was church. Now, while I was never a fan of the main service, Sunday school was actually a lot of fun. But children are curious creatures, and my mom tried her best to clarify the big questions that a 5 or 6 year old has. This was also known as the "what do we eat in heaven" question. Because in my mind at the time, heaven was we were all hanging out with Jesus. And what if I wanted Fruit Loops? Does Jesus grocery shop? How does he pay? And how come no one ever sees him do this? Now, mom tried her best to explain it that in heaven you don't want for anything, which really confused me because I really liked Fruit Loops. After a long discussion, she eventually explained it in a way that I kind of understood it but kind of didn't. Now, on this day, many years later, I understand what she was truly saying. I'm going to shift here a little bit. I want to speak to the older grandchildren, Dan, Stephanie, Thomas, and Jeff. Your grandma loved you all very much, but due to the closeness of our ages, I always thought of you as extra siblings versus nieces and nephews. As I got older, I'd fill her in on your lives from your postings on Facebook. And Dan, she was so proud of you and your coaching abilities, from coaching Montauk to the States to your time coaching at BC3 to your continued work with your niece Adrian. She was always so proud of you. Now, Taylor and Ashley, you were born at a weird time because Dan, Stephanie, Shannon, and I were all getting close to our teenage years or entering our teenage years around that time. You may not remember this, Taylor, but your mom and dad almost always came over on Sunday afternoons and stayed for dinner. And Ashley, you were doted on. Mom made almost every excuse imaginable to come see you when you were a baby. I need to help Jody clean her stove was one of my favorites. You were almost always in her arms as Dan and I rearranged the living room and practiced and perfected elbow drops from the arm of the couch. Now, as I said, you didn't get to experience the full grandma experience because shortly after this, Shannon and I hit our teenage years, and Dan and Steph were right behind us. And chasing teenagers, as you're going to find out, is a full time job. Now, while I was close to perfect, Shannon, who? But no, Grandma was proud of both of you and your families. Now to the younger grandkids, or the brats as I often refer to them: Jeremiah, George, Annalie, and Liam. If you want a true exercise in frustration, it's watching your grandma spoil all of you. Ice cream, cookies, candy for breakfast. No, strike that. Actually getting breakfast. Of waffles, eggs, bacon, or whatever they wanted. If dad or one of us asked for those things, we were told, you know how to make it. But not you. Not you four. All things said, though, Grandma was very proud of you all. Jay for becoming a responsible adult who's more mature than most people his age. Anna Lee for graduating high school this year and already starting her career in early childhood education. And of course, Prince Liam for playing football, continuing the family tradition of being a trumpeter. Remember, Liam, Grandma always loved good grades. For my siblings here, those that are not, and those who have already gone, there isn't a lot to say to you. We all know Mom loved us. We were by her side for the last 5 to 6 weeks. Chris and Shannon, I cannot thank you enough for your sacrifice. We all have different memories of Mom, but she was always there for us. In fact, the scariest thing I've ever seen was Mom when one of us was hurt, or when someone had hurt us. So many memories I'd like to share, from making sure I had a silver trumpet to the birthday pizza, to watching movies with me, burritos, Christmas cookies, to supporting me on every half-cocked misadventure I decided to go on. She was always there and always supportive. Finally, to Dad. You know Mom loved you. After all, St. Pat wasn't an Uncle Bob exclusive. And we may have to add St. Shannon into the family phrases at this point, too. But as parents, you did a good job. Between your kids, both biological and step, and their children and grandchildren, look at the legacy both of you have left behind. If we all leave a legacy like this, the world would be a better place.